a really bananas dating story for you. Um, I started talking to a guy a few weeks ago. And so I started talking to him, I don't know the exact day, but let's say it's like a Friday night. So I started talking to him like Friday night. And we're just texting. And then he says, "What are you doing tomorrow?" And I said, "I'm going on a date tomorrow." And then he was like, "Who are you going on a date with?" And I was like, "Oh, this plastic surgeon. I don't know him." And he was like, "Is this a first date?" And I was like, "Yes." And he was like, "I really don't want you to go on this date." And I was like, "Okay, well, I'm going on the date." And then we started talking more, and like through our talking more, I don't know, I just like really started feeling like I had a connection with him. I think that he was like gaslighting me in all the right ways. I don't know. And I didn't really have a connection with the plastic surgeon. And the plastic surgeon and I FaceTimed, and I just like felt not weird, but I felt kind of intimidated during our talk. So I honestly like wasn't really excited to go out with the plastic surgeon. So I was like, you know what? I don't know. Do you not want me to go on this date? And then he was like, no, I don't. And I was like, why don't you want me to go? Like, you just started talking to me. And he was like, I care about you. And I don't want you to go on this date. Like, I'll come there. I'll come there tomorrow instead. Like, go on a date with me. And I was like, okay, all right. Like, oh, also, he is from my area, but he's living in New York right now because he's at like a hospital in New York working, but he signed a contract for a hospital near me. So he's actually going to be moving near me, but right now he's still in New York. So he was like, I'll drive there. And it's like a 3-hour drive. So he's essentially saying he's gonna drive there for me the following day after talking to me just via text. Like, we haven't even FaceTimed. And I was like, oh my God, this guy is like, you know what they say, like, if he wanted it, he would, or if he wanted to, he would. Like, I was like, wow, this guy's like really showing like initiative. And the fact that he's like, so like, let's go. So
Ladies, he just wants some pussy. That's it.
I was like, okay, we'll talk tomorrow. So then the next day rolls around, and I'm like thinking about it, and I'm like, well, wait, if he comes here, he's gonna have to sleep here because he doesn't live here. So I was like, well, I can't have like I don't want a stranger in my house, and I'm not gonna have a stranger around my kids. So I messaged him, and I was like, you know what? I'm actually feeling like a little unsure of you coming here. Why don't we FaceTime for the week? And then after we get to know each other via FaceTime, we can decide if then we want to pursue you coming here. And he's like, okay, sounds good. So then, like during the week, so we FaceTimed, and then we would text. So a gaslighty thing that a lot of people do is they say like good morning text every day. We did not do that. And because that's actually like a red flag. If somebody like every morning is like good morning every night, it's like good night when you just start talking to them. So we didn't do that, but like he would occasionally send me like a good morning, how's your day going message, and like with a photo of himself. And I was like, oh my God, he's so cute and blah, blah, blah. So I started like saving the pictures that he would send me into my phone, and I changed his picture on my phone like to a picture of him, and then I had like a little emoji of a little doctor next to his name. And yeah, so we talked for like the week, and we set up that that he was gonna come here, and he was gonna stay in a hotel near me, and then him and I were gonna hang out during the day. And then when my daughter needed to be picked up from school, I was gonna go get her, go to my house, have both of my kids babysat by my cousin, and I was gonna go out with him. And like that night, we were gonna go out. And then the following day, also spend a few hours together before he has to go back. And I was like, okay, perfect, this sounds great. But before that happened, like during the week, we FaceTimed, and during our FaceTime, we're talking, and he had some tattoos, and I was like, oh, I like your tattoos or something. And he was like, oh, I would get Kristen tattooed above my heart. Would you like that? And I was like, yes, like, oh my God, that would be so sweet, blah, blah, blah. And then he was like, would you want to get married? Where would you want to get, or do you want to get married? Like in your life, not like asking me like, hey, you want to get married? And I'm like, oh yeah, probably. And he's like, well, where do you want to get married? Where do you want to do this? Like, what do you see? Where do you see your life? Like all this stuff. And then I was talking about how the fact that I want to have a house somewhere in the South of America. Like I want something somewhere warm. And he's, oh, I want that too. Oh, I'll give you whatever will make you happy. Because I was like, oh yeah, like I just want a nanny. And he's like, I'll get you a nanny. I'll get you whatever you want. Like I'll do whatever it takes to make you happy. And I'm like, okay. And I'm just being like gaslit up the wazoo. And I didn't realize what gaslighting was really before, because I was so naive to the fact that I haven't been dating that long. And because to me, it was so crazy. It was like so weird. But I knew that he was gaslighting me. Like I knew that he was gaslighting me when he was saying these things, because it was like we just started talking. And I knew that, but at the same time, I was like, you know what? I know he's gaslighting me, but I'll be like a little delulu. Like, I don't care, whatever. Like, whatever, this guy seems like a little crazy, the fact that he's like, all of this stuff. But all this, whatever. He's gaslighting me, and clearly, I don't care. I'll just go with it. It's not that big of a deal. It's entertainment, Like, that's kind of what I was thinking. And, like, at the same time, I was talking to, like, several different men anyway. So I had a roster. So I was like, whatever, it's not like I'm only entertaining him. So as we continued to talk, he started.
She had a roster. God damn!
Like, literally, he would talk about, like, we both would talk about him, like, adopting my kids, about us being a family, about us going places. And it was like really sweet and like delusional. But then I made a joke about him proposing to, or not even a joke, I was just gaslighting him, because he would gaslight me and I was gaslighting him right back. So then I said to him, oh, you should propose to me at my birthday party because it would be so epic. And then he texted me immediately and was like, I'm not going to propose to someone I don't know. And I was like, I know that. Like, I was kidding. I thought that's what we were doing, like with this like fantasy world that we were coming up with. And then he said, like, you have such a sweet heart. Like, you really believe these things, don't you? And or something on that line. And I was like, well, no, I don't really believe we're going to get married. And then we didn't talk like that whole night. And then the next day I messaged him and I was like, look, that's not what I'm interested in doing. Like, I'm not interested in getting married to a complete stranger. I do think you're nice, but like clearly we would have to hang out. And he was like, oh, okay. But it was weird. It was like, okay, so you can gaslight me, but then if I gaslight you back, all of a sudden I'm crazy. So that was really weird. And then, so we talked throughout the week, but I made a point of disconnecting. I made a point of being like, okay, this isn't like just jokes anymore. Like, he's gaslighting you. So you need to pull back and just detach and not romanticize, not fantasize about this man. So I took his picture off of his contact on my phone, and I took the little emoji away. So it was just like a normal, like, letter when he texted me. It was nothing special. I didn't look at any of his pictures. We didn't FaceTime. When I would text with him, I made sure I was really like in my black cat, energy, and I wasn't giving away too much, and I also wasn't taking too much because I didn't want my feelings to get hurt and I didn't want his feelings to get hurt. And I was coming at it at a very rational way, truly probably the most mature adult way. So I'm really in my like black cat stage in this gaslighting, and I am a pro at this point because I've been like doing self-help, I've been working on myself and all this. So every time that he would try to gaslight me, I would deflect, such as he said, "Baby," question mark. And I was like, "Yes." And he was like, "Do you want to go on vacation in July?" Because I have my vacation days are in July. And I said, "Let's meet first and then talk about going on vacation." And he said, "Well, of course we would meet first. I'm just saying that those are when my vacation days are." And I said, "All right, but yeah, let's just like meet first and make sure we like each other. And then we could talk about vacation." You know what I mean? And he's like, "Yeah, of course." And I was like, "Okay." It was like he kept going to the future and I kept having to bring him back to reality. It was almost like every time we would text message, he would talk about something that wasn't happening now, but that could happen in this like fantasy world. And then I would have to like reel him in. And doing that taught me a lot about myself. And it taught me a lot about how you cannot fantasize, you cannot romanticize these people who you don't know because you don't know them. And you haven't met me, but you're thinking, "Oh, I'm going to go on vacation with her." And you have this image of who I am in your mind. The same way, if I romanticize someone in my mind, I'm going to have this image of who they are in my mind. You know what I mean? And it's like, you don't know me. So no, I don't want to plan a vacation with you. I don't want to plan on our engagement ring. I don't want to plan on our lives together. No. I shouldn't have even allowed that like delusional talk in the beginning, but I feel like I really, like I wanted it. Like I wanted that delusional talk so badly. But then after I realized like, no, this is not going to end well. It's like a drug, you know? It's like he's giving me that hit of dopamine when he's talking about all of these things. You know what I mean? So I was really good about just being like, let's just meet and hang out and then we'll talk. But I was really pulling back. And the reason I was pulling back so much is because I wanted to meet him with there not being any expectations of like who he is or who I am. Like, I just want to get to know you in person, you know, and not have this fantasy of who you are from texting with you and FaceTiming with you. So we were texting and I don't know, we made a joke about like not knowing each other. And I was like, "Yeah, well, I mean, you're going to, you know," because he's coming to where I live to go to a hotel near me. And then we're going to like, you know, go meet up because I don't feel comfortable him sleeping at my house. And I was like, "You don't know, like I could go to your hotel and rob you or something." And as soon as I said that, he responded with like, "Oh, you're making it like really tempting for me to want to come there." And then he stopped texting and it was like 7:00 at night. And I was like, "Oh, that's really weird. I hope he didn't think I was being serious. I mean, that's clearly a joke. Like, if I was going to rob you, why would I tell you that? A. B, like, that's just crazy, you know? Like, I'm not going to do that. But C, like, I wouldn't even have to go into his hotel room, you know what I mean? So it's like you're coming here to meet me, you know? So, and it's clearly a joke. It was clearly a joke. Like, I'm clearly not going to rob you. But I was just saying that, like, you don't know these people that you meet online kind of thing, you know? So, yeah. So that happened. And then the next day, he didn't say, I was like, you know what? If he really was super offended by that joke, or if he, I don't know, is scared to meet me now, that's on him, and he has every right to feel like that. I'm just gonna like wait to see if he messages me. He messages me the next day around like noon or whatever, you know, asking me how my day is, blah, 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 so excited to see me. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, so I guess everything's cool. I guess like that joke, I guess he realized it was a joke. He probably just fell asleep. Then he's texting me quite a bit, like texting me about, what do you like on Netflix? What do you like this? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, I don't really watch Netflix. He's like, well, how do you watch movies? So he's like asking me all these questions. And I'm on the phone with a family member because a different family member was having a mental breakdown. And the other family member that was having this mental breakdown stole money from a different family member and was taking Adderall, like, I guess, back to back to back and not sleeping. So I'm on the phone with this family member who's telling me about this other family member who they're afraid of and how they're taking all this Adderall and they're not sleeping and how they stole money. And they're like, really stressed out about it. And another thing with this guy is that, you don't know these people. So it's like, you don't tell them your life story. I don't talk about like my problems with, somebody I'm going on a date with. So that's not something that I would talk about with this man. And I texted him, hey, sorry, I'm like on the phone. Like my family member is having an issue. Like I'm having an issue with somebody. Let me get back to you or something like that. And then, so I'm on the phone and then he's like, what's going on? Tell me. And so I get off the phone and I'm just like, oh, like, just so-and-so stole money and I guess hasn't slept in days and has been on Adderall back to back. And he messaged me immediately. I don't know if I can come there tomorrow. I have to cancel. I don't know. Robbery, stealing money, Adderall. This is just too much for me. What? Like, I wasn't taking Adderall and stealing money from anybody. That it was literally like not even a close family member. And so that doesn't even make sense. Like, why would literally something happening with like a non-close family member who I don't see ever have anything to do with you coming here? And the fact that he said robbery, and the night before I made the joke about the robbing, and then he said robbery, stealing money, because the person in the story was stealing money, Adderall, I just don't know if I can be, and it's like, well, first of all, so he clearly did not understand that the thing about the first thing was a joke. And I don't know, if you can't understand a joke, baby boy, I don't know what to tell you. But second of all, like the story about literally a relative that like doesn't even have anything to do with, doesn't live where I live, doesn't come to my home, I don't see, like why would that have anything to do with anything? Like, it was just so weird. But he said it immediately. So he definitely was looking for an excuse because of the fact that he must have been freaked out from the night before about the robbery joke. So truly, I don't care because I already was detached. I already felt like this guy has some kind of problem with all this weird gaslighting, and I already was detached. And because I didn't fantasize about him, because I didn't romanticize him, because I didn't have this dream of our lives together, it did not hurt and I did not care. I didn't even respond to him. I could have responded and I could have begged for him to come, but no, I am the prize, not him. I'm the prize. And it's like, if you don't want to go out on a date with me, you don't have to. That is your right. I do think though, he was like looking for an excuse because of how fast he said that and how that doesn't even make sense. Yeah, so I didn't even respond. I literally just like, I looked at it and I was like, whatever. I didn't do anything. I didn't respond. I didn't block him. I don't care. And the reason I don't care is because I don't have a fantasy version of who this man is in my mind. And you shouldn't too when you date. Don't put their photos in your contact. Don't talk too much. Don't talk about a future you don't have together. Don't, think about this person. You have to meet somebody and sit down with them and get to know them in order to have feelings for them. And if they're gaslighting you, just stop it from the beginning. Like, that's what I really should have done. But yeah, I'm proud of myself in the fact that I don't care. I didn't care. My feelings weren't hurt. I was like, okay, whatever. I'll go hang out with somebody else on the roster. Talk to you later.
She talking about she got a roster. Fuck is you talking about? Hey, listen though. She ain't care because shit, they ain't do nothing. They ain't never meet. He ain't never get no pussy. None of that. So like, why would you care? You know what I'm talking about? I think she know that she was doing too much, like putting motherfuckers pictures right there and emojis and shit. If you ain't even met them, you know what I'm saying? And then it was just entertaining to her. There was a whole bunch of gaslighting going on. You know what I'm saying? She probably wanted to hear be gaslit. She did. She wanted to hear it. So shit, that's what she's you know. But then when she she gaslit him, he like, baby girl, you really think this is serious, dog? Yo, that's funny. That nigga said robbery, stealing, Adderall. Like, you feel me? I don't know, but dating online be weird, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Did she say where she met dude ass at off an app or something? If she met his ass off an app, then that's what you get from off them damn apps. You know what I'm saying? I forgot where she said she met him. I just know it was online. I don't fuck with dating apps at all. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? So hell nah. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers be on Instagram though. You feel me? But motherfuckers don't. You know what I'm talking about? But I appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with me, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think about the story in the comments below. Peace.